Tonight's decision will be published in the Record Journal on Friday, July 22nd, 2022. The effective date of your variance will be Friday, July 22nd, 2022. The date a certified copy is recorded on the land records. The statutory 15-day appeal period will expire on Sunday, August 7th, 2022. If you commence operations and/or construction during the appeal period, you do so at your own risk. Voting tonight will be Bruce Conroy, Tom Wolfer, Karen Harris, she's going to be sitting in as acting secretary at the time, Ray Rise, and myself, Joe Russick, as chairman. If there's anybody here for variance request 22-029 for Choate Rosemary Hall, that will not be heard tonight. It will be continued till the September meeting. So the first variance request is 22-023, variance request for Gaetani for 42 Apple Street. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. We have staff comments dated July 12th, 2022, for application number 22-023. It's a variance request from the Gaetanis at 42 Apple Street. Applicant seeks variances for side yard of 4.6 feet, where 26.3 feet exists and 20 feet is required, and a front yard of 35 feet, where 25 feet exists and 40 feet is required, to construct a 440 square foot attached garage and mudroom addition at 42 Apple Street in an R18 district. This office cannot discern hardship regarding this proposal, as a compliant option for a detached garage exists located 17 feet further toward the rear, where a 5-foot setback would apply. Side yard of 4.3 feet is less than is permitted for detached garages and accessory structures in the rear. Reducing a compliant side yard of 26.3 feet, where 20 feet is required, to 4.3 feet seems excessive. The proposed mudroom portion of the addition also has compliant locations on the property to construct.
Thank you. Who's here for this application? Come on up and have a seat up here, please. Sit down, pull the microphone close to you so we can hear you.
So I have a package for each of you. Do you mind if I?
No, you can hand them out, okay, please.
Just a PowerPoint version of the survey and a couple of pictures of some of the neighbors' properties.
Thank you.
Do you have one for staff? So welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay. I'm the contractor. My name is Frank Gaetani. My address, I live in Enfield, 5 Bernardino Avenue.
My name is Mauro Coet. I'm the homeowner of 42 Apple Street.
You can pull that microphone over. Okay. Could you please explain your application?
First off, I'd like to thank you all for hearing us. As I know, it takes time out of your busy schedule. But so, first things first, I believe that we have a couple of hardships. It's an R18 lot, which makes it very difficult to build anything, conforming off the structure, as well as it's an odd-shaped lot, which kind of gives us sort of some built-in difficulties. If you all can refer to the survey, you'll see that we really don't have a great deal of space for complying structures anyway, with the side yards being that the building itself predates the zoning department, and we pretty much have a non-conforming building in our front setbacks right now as we speak. So I know that the notes from the office were that there was a possible conforming option. The only reason why I would tend to disagree with that being a viable option is because if we do happen to put the garage in the back right portion of the yard, where we do have 5-foot setbacks on a detached garage, you would be asking the homeowner to sacrifice about a third of his actual yard and the side yard for a driveway for access. And then again, also for there being a viable spot for the mudroom, if you'll refer to where we're proposing this garage, really that only leaves us this small little 6-foot by 10-foot square, which is the only way to get a real second entrance into the kitchen, because if we were to move to the adjacent side of the property, there's bedrooms on that side, so no one wants to walk into a, to have an entrance into their house where there's a bedroom. So those are two things regarding, the size and the zoning. The other thing is the pictures. If you refer to both of those pictures, every one of the 5 houses in the cul-de-sac right now has an attached garage within 3 to 5 feet from property lines. And I'm sure those things were maybe predated, some of the modern codes and updates and stuff, but it just doesn't leave us with much, if you want to try to have a comparable house in the neighborhood, an attached garage is in all of the other 5 houses in that cul-de-sac.
So what I'm looking at, that if you did move it to the rear, you would have plenty of room and you really wouldn't even need to be here. If you attached it towards the rear of the house.
Well, again, I would tend to agree with the principles behind having it in the backyard, but again, that requires a 75-foot driveway to get there, and no real yard space. And again, I think the point of this project is to have a garage and also a secondary entrance to the house. The secondary entrance to the house I don't believe is possible without coming back here for another set of variances, because I don't think we can build a mudroom. Even if we did do a detached garage in the back, the mudroom on the side wouldn't be a viable option. With what we have for setbacks, there's not enough room. Otherwise, we'd need to build a 5-foot wide by, I'd have to look at the map, but I think 5-foot by 8-foot is all we really got left, or 5-foot by 10-foot for a mudroom entrance.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to know, Amy, what do they need to do to put a garage there? On that side of the house? Is there anything they can do other than put it in the back?
By putting it in the back, we don't mean in the back far corner. The face of the garage needs to be behind the house. It can be kitty corner with the house. So that's not 75 feet off the street. And the driveway could be extended as where your building would be now. That's first off. So in order to do that and to detach it, it would not require a variance. It does require one to attach.
Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Rice.
Looking at the property, is there a building to the left of the property right now?
Is there a building to the left of the like in the top left corner as in the shed, or?
Yeah, it looks like a shed.
It is a shed, yes, and that would be removed because that conditionally would put us over coverage. So, that building it's a cheap plastic shed. It's not really a.
And is there still a pool in the back?
There is no pool in the back, no.
So then a garage can be located there without taking down the pool?
Well, there is no pool, so.
There was never a pool?
Well, there was a pool, right? There was a pool at some point, but I don't believe in the time that he owned the property.
I'm just looking at
Yeah.
a map on,
Sure. Yeah, but currently, right now, sir, there is no pool.
when you mentioned something about the pictures of garages in the area, I just want to share something with you. In my own neighborhood, which was built in the 70s, zoning changed, and there's a lot of reasons the zoning had changed, which even though I have an attached garage to my house and a couple others do, people who want to build them now cannot build them unless they push them back. And I think that's one of the concerns here, that the garage can be built, providing you put it towards the rear of the property, and then you wouldn't require coming here. I just wanted to
No,
clarify that.
and I
because-
agree, and that's fine, but again, I think for us, it's a two-part, which I realize may not hold water in this scenario, but for us, it's a two-part scenario. I agree that we can build a garage there, but what I don't agree with is I don't believe there's another conforming option for a secondary entrance into the house via a mudroom. So, though I guess we perhaps could build the garage in the back corner, and that's fine, but that doesn't solve the homeowner's issue of trying to have a secondary entrance into the house, where the primary entrance is just the front door, on the front right-hand side of the house.
I'm done.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody here to speak against this application? Sir, would you like to come up to the microphone? Get close. Please state your name and address for the record.
Craig Casella, 7 Quinn Street. I got some folders I'd like to hand out. If I may.
Make sure you give one to staff. Okay. Thank you.
Again, I'm Craig Casella. I'm the rear property abutter. I'm here tonight to ask you to deny this application, and I'm going to give you my reasons. As you see in the pictures, you're going to see a view from my yard, from an overall of the neighborhood, and some houses across the street. I've been in this house for 44 years. So when I know as the gentleman spoke about garages around him, yes, there are. But 90% of the garages in our neighborhood, Colonial Village, have been converted to bedrooms. There's a few garages less, as you can see in the pictures that I provided. If they were to give up their mudroom, they wouldn't be needing to be so close to the property line. Yes, they could go in the back. They prefer not to. I understand that. I thank them for that. My other issue is I heard him speak of a secondary entrance. They have one in the backyard. There is a back door to that property. There was a pool in the property. When they moved in, they took it down. I know it's noted on the plans. My concern is seeing the way they have the gable end facing. All the neighbors, 95% of them, their garages are going even with the house. They're proposing, from the pictures that I got from their application, to go front to back. So that's going to put a 12'6" height rear gable that I'm going to be looking at, for God willing, for the next 40 years, that I'm not currently looking at. I don't have a view. I bought the house with knowing that I can't have a garage. 2, my neighbors' houses aren't hovering me. The house to my right had a second addition put on. That was before I owned it. I had no control or say over what happened. The lady next to me just last year came here and got an approval. She put up an addition with the gable end going with the house as sits. So there wasn't a big, huge gable facing all the neighbors. There was an applicant denied, last year for the same reason they were going for a detached garage. Their coverage was over the limit, but they were requesting the same sideline and front line that this applicant requested. You guys denied it. So tonight I ask that you deny it based on changing the character of the neighborhood and my quality of life, because I'm going to have to look at this. As you can see in the picture, when I sit in my living room and look at my backyard, I'm going to be looking at that gable end pretty soon if this is approved. I don't object to his wanting a garage. I object to the way they're going to build it. They can get rid of the mudroom, keep the garage in line with the house if they choose, which wouldn't affect me, or they could do like you guys all suggested and put it in the rear. Then I have no say because it meets all the requirements of the zoning. I wouldn't be happy, but that's how it goes. My other issue is if this is approved, where is the dirt going to go that's going to be left over? Because we have no water issues. If they're going to raise the grade, or are they going to remove it? Second, are they going to have windows on this gable end, decks, or anything attached to the garage? Is there going to be a window to access the attic space above it? That wasn't in the plan, so I asked through you to them if that's something that's in consideration or going to be thought of. Other than that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here to speak against this application? Hearing none. Just to cover a couple things. If this is granted, you'll be using silt fence and everything else to protect from dirt spoils going into the neighbor's yard and everything.
Correct, yes, and maybe just to answer some of his questions, yes, we would be removing all, we're not changing the grade of the land at all. There wouldn't be any higher portions where any water runoff or anything like that would end up into his yard. So that's one thing. He was correct and actually very astute about the gable end and stuff because yes, through the proposed plan, we had our gable end facing that way. However, it's a very simple change to change the roof line to go the entire way the same way. So I mean that's a structurally a very simple change. But yes, to answer your question though, we would be using silt fence. We contain everything.
Can you pull the microphone up closer to you,
I'm
please?
sorry. Yes, we would be using silt fence. We contain everything within the yard. There wouldn't be any spillover, any contaminants into the neighbor's yard.
Okay, do you have anything further you'd like to add before I close the public hearing and open up for discussion?
No, sir.
So I'm going to close the public hearing, open up for discussion and possible action by the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve a variance request for front yard of 35 feet to construct a 440 square foot attached garage and mudroom addition to 42 Apple Street as shown on zoning location survey prepared for Mario Colette and Samantha Black, 42 Apple Street, dated February 1st, 2022, and revised. Submitted plans received 6/27/2022, subjected to comments from Eric Kruger, Water and Sewer Division, dated July 7th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Conroy.
No to approve.
Mr. Wolfer.
No to approve.
Mr. Rice.
No to approve.
Ms. Harris. And Chairman Russick.
No.
To approve.
Also, I'd like to make a motion to approve a variance request for side yard of 4.36 feet to construct a 440 square foot attached garage and mudroom addition at 42 Apple Street as shown on zoning location survey prepared for Mario Colette and Samantha Black, 42 Apple Street, dated February 1st, 2022, and revised. Submitted plans received 6/27/2022, subjected to comments from Eric Kruger, Water and Sewer Division, dated July 7th, 2022. So moved.
No to approve.
You got a
Need
second?
a second.
Oh, I'm
Second.
sorry, let me second it. Now you can ask me. No to approve.
Mr. Conroy and Mr. Wolfer.
No to approve.
Mr. Rice.
No to approve.
Ms. Harris.
No to approve.
And Chairman Russick.
No. Both applications have been denied variances. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next variance request is 22-025, variance request for Moscato, 148 Quigley Road. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, we have staff comments dated July 12th, 2022. Applicant seeks variance for side yard of 12.5 feet, where 30 feet is required and 31 feet exists, to construct a 13 by 26-foot addition to existing attached garage at 148 Quigley Road in an RU 40 district. Parcel area and dwelling location are non-conforming, predating the inception of zoning. Proposed addition is a one-story, single garage bay in order to create a two-car garage on the property. That's it.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, on this terrible night. My name is Michael A. Moscato, Jr. I live at 148 Quigley Road, Wallingford, Connecticut.
Okay, could you please explain your application?
The reason for my application, as you can see, I'm at handicap. I cannot walk without a wheelchair or a walker. I need accessibility for a second garage. The first garage is my wife, and she's got bad knees, so she needs that garage. And I need accessibility to a second vehicle because of the place that we live in, snow and the rain. It's very, very hard for me to go to therapy and doctor's appointments.
Okay, and what is your hardship?
Pardon me?
What is the hardship?
What is the hardship?
Yes.
I had surgery on my back 2020, and it didn't work.
Well, the hardship normally goes with the land, so,
Well, I can't park in the turnaround and walk out there because I can't walk, especially in the winter months. I took a fall. Let me explain further. This past winter, when they had an ice storm, I had to go to therapy, and I took a fall. I was in a wheelchair and slid down the driveway. That's almost in the street.
okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Does there anybody have any questions for the applicant? Amy, do you have something you'd like to,
I just want to make two notes. That the lot is actually non-conforming for the zone. It's about half the size that's required in that zone, and the way the house is oriented, somewhat diagonally, if you will, does limit it, and Mr. Moscato is asking for an accommodation.
May I say something else?
sure, go ahead.
I hate to say this, but there's a house across the street from me that they had a garage put on in 2004, and it's about 5 feet from the property line. And I have pictures of that.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody got any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody here to speak against this application? Do you have anything further you'd like to add before I close the public hearing?
No, just that I would appreciate it from the board if they grant me this.
Thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing, open it up for discussion and possible action by the board.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve a variance request for side yard of 12.5 feet to construct an addition to an attached garage at 148 Quigley Road, as shown on mortgage survey for Janice Morin, Quigley Road, prepared by Leon Vyaskowski, received May 26, 2022, and submitted plans received 5/26/2022, subject to comments from Eric Kruger, Water and Sewer Division, dated July 7, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Conroy.
I will abstain.
Mr. Rice, Mr. Wolfer, pardon me.
Yes, to approve.
Mr. Rice,
Yes to approve?
Ms. Harris,
Yes to approve.
and Chairman Russick.
Yes to approve. Your variance has been approved. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it.
Next variance request is 22-026, variance request for Ridesy. Is that pronounced correctly? Oh, good. 158 Mansion Road. Also, while they're here, they also have 22-027 for a special exception request, same address. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, would you like me to read both of them?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we have staff comments dated July 12th, 2022. Applicant seeks front yard of 38 feet, where 50 feet is required, and 53.1 feet exists, and rear yard of 25.2 feet, where 30 feet is required, and 22.6 feet exists to locate and construct a 768 square foot detached garage at 158 Mansion Road in an RU 40 district. Parcel is unusual in shape, with nearly 1/3 of the parcel having no building envelope. Parcel also abuts wetlands and has further limiting topographic, steep grade changes to the rear. Applicant also seeks garage area of 1,428 square feet, where 1,171 square feet is permitted, and 660 square feet exists, to construct a 768 square foot detached garage at 158 Mansion Road in an RU 40 district. This application is companion application with number 22-026, variance application which addresses the location of the proposed garage. Special exception is required for the additional 257 square feet of garage area that is requested beyond the 1,171 square feet allowed as of right. And that's it.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Please pull the microphones up close and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Asteriak. I'm a professional engineer and land surveyor with B&B Engineering. With me tonight is the owner of the property, Mr. Wayne Ridzi, who also lives at the address. I had a whole presentation prepared, but Madam Secretary did a wonderful job and basically replaced everything I was going to say. To go through just the general lot configuration, it is sort of in a triangular shape. I assume you have the map in front of you. The house is over on the west side. A driveway goes towards the east. The Ridzis would like to put that garage over on the east side of the existing garage, which is where the majority of the land of the lot currently or the undeveloped land currently exists. And if you'll see in the back on the north end, the northern property line follows an existing stream and wetland, and there is a bank that goes down to that wetland. So as you go to the east, between the front yard setback and that wetland and bank area, it really pinches off the developable area. Those are the hardships that we're claiming for this variance. The special exception, I don't know if we need to explain anymore. They're looking for some additional garage space over what they have, which goes beyond the exemption areas.
Thank you.
I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. So, so you have explained the hardship along with staff in their comments, that there is no possible way to put it in the rear or anywhere else except for there.
Yes.
One other question, as far as the special exception part of this application, how many car garage do you have now on the house? Because we can't see it in any of the.
3.
3? Okay. And you're adding a 3-car out here too, is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Has anybody got any questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman, question through staff. Has this cleared through wetlands? Because you mentioned in the notes, has she signed off? Because I didn't see a report on that.
I believe they're going to need a wetlands permit directly through the Wetlands Commission.
Okay.
So they'll have to go through that process as well,
Okay.
following what you all do here. They do not have to go to planning and zoning, but they will have to go through wetlands.
Another question, Mr. Chairman, if I may. You now then would have 6 garages?
Correct, sir.
And what would you use the 6 garages for?
I collect automobiles.
Okay. Would you be doing any repairs in
Not a
this
bit.
garage to the cars, other than maybe polishing them and what have you?
Just my stuff.
Okay,
No other car will be worked on.
okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I currently have garages around town. I have to put my things in, so I'm trying to get them closer to home.
Well, I'm going to go off topic because I'm a car guy. What do you collect?
Well, I got a couple of Chevys. I got a 32 Ford. I got a Bel Air. And now I'm looking at another one right now.
Nice,
57 T-Bird.
very nice. Anybody else got any, get back to the application. Anybody else got any questions for the applicant?
I had one question,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman, and that is there already a structure where you're proposing this one?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Because I thought I read where the variance is going to decrease, right? The offsets?
Setbacks?
The building envelope shrinks, if you will.
Okay.
So perhaps, I don't know if that's what you're referencing. So there is no buildable space on that portion of the compliant buildable space, let's put it that way, on that portion of the yard for building.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Go ahead.
All that I wanted to say is this started a couple, 3 years ago when we had the hurricane up on the hill. I'm the only house in the apple orchard off of Mansion Road. And we had that hurricane came through. I probably lost, well, I'll tell you how much. I lost about $13,000 worth of tree work I lost. So once we got all the tree stuff out of there and cleaned it up, I said, what a place for a garage. Can't use land for anything else. We feed our deer, and that's it.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yes, go ahead.
So when I'm reading the staff notes, though, it says applicant seeks front yard of 38 feet where 50 feet is required and 53.1 exists, and rear yard of 25.2 feet where 30 feet is required and 22.6 feet exists. So that's where I was wondering why we have a decrease there.
Those reference the house.
Okay.
Existing.
Existing
versus the house.
with the house in relationship to its boundaries
Okay.
is what is the existing measurements. Now, because there is no structure there now, so now, that's why it appears to be a decrease.
Okay. That's what I was trying to follow. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody here to speak against this application? Hearing, seeing none. Do you have anything further you'd like to add before I close the public hearing?
No, thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
So I'm going to close the public hearing and open it up for discussion and possible action on both applications.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve a variance request for front yard of 38 feet where 50 feet is required to construct and locate a 768-square-foot detached garage at 158 Mansion Road as shown on proposed garage plan of 158 Mansion Road, owner applicant Wayne and Paulette Ridzi, dated 6/14/2022, and submitted plans dated 6/14/2022, received 6/16/2022, subject to comments from Eric Ruger, Water Sewer Division, dated July 7th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, this is regarding the front yard variance. Mr. Conroy.
No to approve.
Mr. Wolfer.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Rice.
Yes to approve.
Ms. Harris.
Yes to approve.
Chairman Russick.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve a variance request for rear yard of 25.2 feet where 30 feet is required to construct and locate a 768 square foot detached garage at 158 Mansion Road as shown on proposed garage plan of 158 Mansion Road. Owner and applicant Wayne and Paulette Rizzi, dated 6/14/2022, and submitted plans dated 6/14/2022, received 6/16/2022, subject to comments from Eric Ruger, Water and Sewer Division, dated July 7, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve the rear, Mr. Conroy, pardon me.
No to approve.
Mr. Wolfer,
Yes to approve.
Mr. Rice,
Yes, to approve.
Ms. Harris,
Yes to approve.
and Chairman Russick.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion for a special exception request for total garage area of 1,428 square feet to construct a 768 square foot detached garage at 158 Mansion Road as shown on proposed garage plan of 158 Mansion Road. Owner applicant Wayne and Paulette Rizzi, dated 6/14/2022, and submitted plans dated 6/14/2022, received 6/16/2022, subject to comments from Eric Kruger, Water and Sewer Division, dated July 7th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Special exception, motion to approve, Mr. Conroy,
No to approve.
Mr. Wolfer,
Yes to approve.
Mr. Rice,
Yes to approve.
Ms. Harris,
Yes to approve.
and Chairman Russick.
Yes. So your variances have been approved and your special exception has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Next variance request is 22-028, variance request for BYK USA, 526 South Cherry Street.
Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself. Even though I'm not voting or anything, I'm going to recuse myself from this particular one.
Okay. You can stay up here.
Okay.
You don't have. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can sit down there, but when you go up to use the ease, when you go up to present, you can. Yeah, I don't think that's on. Is it?
Check? Okay,
There you go.
I think we're good.
Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Jeff Lynn. I'm the site manager for BYK USA in Wallingford.
I'm Anton Vorsfeld, the project engineer for BYK in Wallingford.
I'm Brian Phillips with Langen Engineering, 555 Long Wharf Road, or Long Wharf Drive, rather, in New Haven, Connecticut.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and I can explain the project. The proposal is, the project is a expansion of tank farms adjacent to existing, which house the raw material. And because of the siting of the existing buildings in relation to the property line and the existing loading and unloading route for trucks, we are here requesting a variance for a roof overhang within the side yard setback. Essentially, this is where the trucks which load and unload the tanks will be parked. The roof overhang is to protect that area from rainwater. There is a concrete containment area beneath the roof, but the roof essentially keeps that area dry for the trucks, improves safety for the unloading and loading. This roof will be cantilevered over the trucks, so there will be no columns or any structures within the side yard setback.
So it's just going to be a free hanging roof over
Correct.
your containment area?
Correct, yep, for the loading and unloading. No tanks are within this area. They're all within the proposed enclosure, bolded on the plan.
And the size of the roof that you're building is?
So the overhang itself is shown this dashed line.
Yep.
It's approximately 14 feet from the main structure,
Okay.
in line with the roof.
And this is going to be facing South Cherry Street?
South Cherry Street is, so we're here, and this is facing north.
Yep.
South Cherry Street is to the west, so it will not be facing
It won't be.
South Cherry. The lot is somewhat irregularly shaped.
Has anybody got any questions for the applicant?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Can you just point out on that map that you, the drawing, where South Cherry Street is? Because I drove by yesterday, and I was trying to, not on that, where the drawing is.
South Cherry Street is over here.
Okay.
So the building, the proposed building is essentially in the middle of the property between, I believe, Dudley and South Cherry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's where I'm sorry, I got confused. I know where the cemetery is and everything, and I got confused.
So the cemetery
It's behind it.
property is
Behind it.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
That's where so anybody else got any questions for the applicant? Mr. Gross, go ahead.
That's what they're encroaching on. They're encroaching on the cemetery. So you can see it from Dudley.
You got to pull up closer to the microphone.
You can see this from Dudley. You can, it's, the cemetery is where they're encroaching on. That's where the borderline is. It's the cemetery, not either one of the streets.
Right, so this is facing, what you're trying to explain is this is facing the cemetery. They're not encroaching on the property,
Yeah,
but
it's facing the,
it's facing the cemetery.
The
Okay.
easement, yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Don't think there'll be too much objection to that.
No.
It's a joke.
Anybody else got any? Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody here to speak against this application? Hearing, seeing none, do you guys have anything further you'd like to add before I close the public hearing?
No. No, thank you.
So I'm going to close the public hearing and open it up for discussion and possible action by the board.
Did you want me to read the staff comments?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, we have staff comments dated July 12th, 2022. Applicant seeks variance for side yard of 19 feet, where 25 feet is required and 20 feet exists, to construct a protective roof and overhang over storage tank farm in order for servicing. Overhang encroaching on side yard setback required to cover vehicles for servicing, unloading, and for cleaning spill containment area. Existing building currently identifies a 20-foot side setback where 25 feet is required. Therefore, request for 19 feet side yard is similarly in keeping with existing conditions regarding the same side yard of the site.
Thank you. I got all excited about the time. I'm going to close the public hearing and open it for discussion and possible action by the board.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to request, to approve a variance request for front yard of 3 feet, or, excuse me, wrong one. A variance request for a side yard of 19 feet where 25 feet required to construct a roof overhang at 526 South Cherry Street is shown on site development plan BYK above ground tanks farm expansion variance application dated and received 6/17/2022. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Conroy.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Wolfer.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Rice.
Yes to approve.
Ms. Harris.
Yes to approve.
And Chairman Russell.
Yes, your application's been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Do you have any?
Mr. Chairman.
Should I ask, do you have any corrections?
Yes, just
Okay.
one minor one, sir,
Right, go
one
ahead.
minor one.
Thank you.
I
We can always count on you.
I didn't know that my esteemed colleague to the far left of me is referred to as another person other than what he is. In the comments, number one, at the very bottom, Mr. Parisi seconded the motion, but they listed it at Mr. Paris.
Okay.
So if we could make that minor correction and put Parisi. You're welcome, sir.
Maybe he has an alias
AK, you never know.
when he's voting. So a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Second.
And aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go. Thank you.